Hey guys, Fearless here. Part 2 of the Briggs IR6 project. Just wanted to do an update. I removed the front shroud, the hand starter, got the oil bath, air cleaner out of the way, and now I've got the I'm down to where I can see the magneto and the flywheel. And first of all, the flywheel is in perfect condition. It's in excellent, perfect condition. Not one fin is missing. And the coil itself, I see what he did now. The guy that owned this before me, he never went any further than to work on this coil. He never went back behind this flywheel. This is as far as he went. And what I can see here is there's shrink wrap here, okay, on this. And the guy is an electrician, so I have a feeling he knows what he's doing, or at least he did a decent job with this. It looks like this is the original spark plug wire connected to the coil, to the main armature. Seems like it's okay. I mean, there's a little tear on the shell of the armature, but that's not really a big deal. I mean, if the coil's still good, great. But I see what he did was he connected this new wire to the old wire right here, and shrink wrapped it with this rubber. So I snipped off the end that had the modern boot with that modern metal thing. And I'm gonna go ahead and put, if this coil still works, I'm just gonna cut this wire to the right length and put the correct end on this lead that would have been originally on here to connect to the spark plug. Okay, if the coil is still indeed good, and it could very well be. I'm not exactly sure how to test these coils, so anybody out there watching this video, if they can either private message me or comment on how to test just to see if the coil is good. I think you have to do an ohm reading on it. Let me know. Or you could send me an email, dwardensky@gmail.com. DWARDENSKI@gmail.com. Okay, but I happen to have a coil in here from another older engine, but not the same. Here it is, and it's not the exact same coil, but it has the correct tip, so I could take that tip from this one. I'm not exactly sure what engine this coil came from. I think it was probably a larger engine from like the 50s or 60s. Plus, this coil doesn't have a wire that goes down to the condenser, that points the condenser. So, because when I first looked up this engine on the internet to find out its age, I got in touch with one guy, and he was saying he wanted $100 just for this coil, and I think that's quite expensive. And I think these coils were used on a lot of engines. I think the 6S had the same coil, the N, a lot of them. So I think there's still a lot of these coils out there. So if I need a coil, I think I can get it cheaper. And if I do indeed need a coil, and somebody out there is watching this video that's into these engines, and I need it, contact me. All right, because I might need to buy one. Like I said, I'm willing to put money in it to get this engine running, because it's worth it. It's an old school engine, and it's cool. But I don't want to go try not to go crazy if I don't have to. I think more than likely the points just need to be cleaned. The condenser might need to be need to be replaced, or the points and condenser most likely just need to be replaced. Hopefully that coil is still good. We'll see. If not, the coil needs to be replaced too. Worst case scenario. But once I get back behind this flywheel, I can check and see what's going on. So I may also need a point and condenser for this engine. So again, anybody watching this video, if they have points and condensers for this engine, used or new, and they're looking, and if they can sell me them at a reasonable price, I will be willing to buy them. Ship to me, or if you live nearby, great. Another thing to note, this flywheel has the steel insert in the center, just like the Model N, like 805 Road Kings. Okay? Because, you know, they said for the gear reduction one, they had that, this helps balance out the gear reduction, so that's why it has this. So this flywheel is a lot more rare than the regular one because it has that steel insert in it. My next dilemma at this point right now is to get this flywheel off nice and safely without damaging it, because I am not going to damage it. If I have to, I'm going to buy a flywheel knockoff tool, but I can't get to this nut with impact because this is so long. The deep well sockets I have won't reach that nut. It's a 15/16 nut, and it's a reverse thread. So what my plan here is to use my strap wrench on that flywheel and loosen it while the strap wrench holds the flywheel. The other way I could do it is take a pair of vice grips and go from behind and lock that onto the crankshaft without marring it. I'll have to put a rag on it and, you know, lock it and hold it from there and then loosen it. But the instruction manual for this engine says to use a wooden block or stick something in between these fins to lock it so you can loosen this nut. And that method will more than likely break a fin. So that's why when you see fins broken off on these flywheels, it's because, number one, back in the day, these are old school engines. They were on mowers, washing machines, this and that, and if they stop working, people needed to get them working right away. All right, and they may not have had real fancy tools. They may have had primitive tools, if that, and they followed those instructions, and that's how fins got broken off, trying to get these off to get behind them points and condenser. So that's another clear sign that this engine really just didn't have that much use, because I could tell you right now, no one's been back behind this flywheel in a very long time. So, like I said, the guy that owned it before me, he never went any further than this. And I know he said the guy he got it from, who moved to Bermuda, it sat in their backyard for years before he gave it to that guy. So that's the situation with that. So, but and then once I get this nut off of here, my next dilemma is actually removing this flywheel. At the moment, I don't have a flywheel knockoff tool. I might have to buy one. If not, what I have to do, I'm either gonna, well, if I'm gonna have to get the knockoff tool and then get a pry bar behind here and knock it off the way I saw 805 Road King do. However, this is pot metal, so if you take a pry bar back behind here and you're not gentle and you break or crack this pot metal, you know, that's not good. So right now, my dilemma is going to be getting this flywheel off so I can get behind here to check the points and condenser. Okay? So that's my next step. So if anybody out there has any suggestions on the best way to go about doing this, if you don't have a knockoff tool, and even with the knockoff tool, where the best place to put the pry bar is back there, so this way when I go to knock on it, it'll pop off without damaging this. But like I said, at the moment, I don't have one of those knockoff tools. And I'm thinking maybe a puller, but the hooks I have on my puller won't even be able to get behind here to grab. So, because they're kind of fat. And like I said, besides that, you know, like I said, that's about the only way I would know how to do it. And since the nut, you know, there's no way to put the nut right in the end, you got to have that actual knockoff tool you know, this makes it a little bit more difficult. And I'm not going to do it the way they say in the manual. Well, they say in the manual, well, the thing is, the way they say it in the manual, you know, it's for all the Model Is, and this Model I has the nut further way back behind here. It's not up right up front, because they said to put a block of wood behind the shaft and then, you know, put the nut on and tap it, but you can't do that because it's back here. So, like I said, I'm gonna probably try putting a pry bar here and like a block here and give it a good tap, and hopefully it'll knock off nice and easy. Or maybe try to use a puller if I can get it behind here somehow. But if not, like I said, I'm gonna have to buy that knockoff tool and then get the pry bar back there and then do it properly. But like I said, at the moment I don't have the knockoff tool, so I'm probably gonna have to go the method I'm talking about, unless I order and wait for the knockoff tool, which isn't a problem because I'm not gonna damage this flywheel. It's in perfect condition and I will not damage it, especially since it has the steel insert and these are so hard to come by. But that's the progress I've made so far, and what I can say for sure is I really, other than the electrical, the spark on this, the spark system on this engine, that's the only parts I may need. Everything else is there. And like I said, it came off a real mower. I have the other parts, the clutch and all that stuff that I took off. I had the original throttle cable that hooks up on this carburetor. You know, I have all that stuff. So if people think I should put that stuff back on or leave it off, let me know. Like I said, there was a metal bracket bolted on here that I removed because, like I said, it was for the mower specifically. Luckily I have a J8 plug. Didn't have a J8 plug originally when I got it. So people let me know. But like I said, if I put that clutch back on, the way that works, it makes it difficult to start the engine. Oh yes, and one other thing. Now that I have the hand starter removed, you could hear the compression nice and easy. So here, listen to that sound real quick, to the compression. It's burping. Yep, it's got compression. Yep. So she's got good compression, so I'm probably most likely not gonna have to do anything with the valves or the piston. I will probably pop the head just to inspect it, maybe clean off carbon. But that's as far as I'm gonna have to go with that. Once I get spark back to this, like I said, clean out the gas tank just of any dirt, because it's not rusty inside of it. Clean out the fuel line, clean out the carburetor and sediment bowl real well. Change the oil. Like I said, maybe decarbonize the head. And then put nice fresh gasoline in and start her up, and she should be good to go. Adjust the carburetor properly, and then this should be a good running engine. And then, like I said, other than that, cleaning it up real nice, maybe removing some of the rust. Like I said, I'm on the fence about whether or not to even bother with that or just leave it, since it's all patina as far as that goes. I'm probably not going to go as far as to repaint it and all that. I'm going to leave it the way it is, basically, except for basically cleaning it up of any dirt and all that. But other than that, I'm probably going to end up leaving it alone, leaving it original. Alright, so here she is. This is where I'm at now. My dilemma is getting this flywheel off. I'm going to work on that in a little bit. Hopefully I'll be able to do it without any special parts. But if anybody has any suggestions on that, let me know. And like I said, here's how the coil looks right now. Let me know what folks think on if this coil is still going to be good. I have a feeling it might be. Even with this little tear, that's not really a big deal. That's just the tear on the core, but the thing seems to still be good. So if anybody out there has suggestions on how to check and see if that's still good, and then I can just add the right end to this wire, and I don't have to go any further. If not, I'll just have to replace this if I have to. same thing. Gotta get back there and clean them points of condenser and see if I can get the spark to come back. If I can, good. If not, I'll just have to buy replacement points and condenser. And I know they talk about soldering that onto the brass arm back there. So, alright guys, I just wanted to share my update on where I am so far. And I will update you with part 3 once I get to it. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. And hit the bell for notifications. And like I said, anybody out there who has information on the questions I just asked, or any other related information, or you just want to comment, please do. But for those questions I just asked, definitely comment or private PM me on YouTube or send me an email as far as those questions I had. Alright guys, thanks a lot. Later.